Hello everyone, welcome to another video here. We've got a pretty special occasion served up for you because yesterday Hitman and Happy finally played on the W3 Champions ladder. Until now, Happy had always been leaving immediately because Happy, playing under the name of Sasha27, doesn't like playing with any ping higher than 70, which is his right to like what kind of ping he wants to play with. And so he's been giving away free wins rather than asking his opponent for a miss game, like minus bad ping, which is a functionality on W3 Champions where you can decide both not to register the game result. He just leaves. But the W3 Champions team feels that kind of invalidates some of the value of the ladder, as he's basically win trading with other people in a sense. It affects end of season tournament rankings in a way. Like if you manage to be an American player that puts him on a high ping, you could farm a lot of MMR from facing Happy if you play at the same time he's playing at. Now, I know we're not playing for millions of dollars for the W3 Champions tournament, but it's still one of the coolest tournaments that we have in our Warcraft 3 scene, and so I guess it does kind of affect and could be seen as ladder abuse even when it isn't intended as such. Suffice to say, they asked Happy to please do that less or not do it. And surprise, he actually listened to them, it seems. I hope it's gonna last, because matchups like Happy versus Hitman, who's playing under the name Ethereal, should be freaking epic. And we've been waiting for it for a long time. But because of stupid COVID, the Katowice Grand Finals tournament wasn't held at LAN in Katowice, but was online and segregated into 3 separate regions. So the question remains on everyone's mind, how would Happy versus Hitman go? And we are going to go find out now. And I'm going to turn off chat, just so you can't be spoiled on the result from Twitch chat. Well-intentioned as they are, they can always be a bad egg. Let's cast this game that was played on ladder between Happy and Hitman, the best player in Europe and the best player in North America. Let's go. The map is Tidehunters. The ping between them is about 130 versus 90, I believe. So it's fairly equal, a little bit more for Happy, but then he is not unknown to playing on higher pings. He just doesn't like it. He has played many times on high ping. In fact, when I was in the same pro gaming team as he was in 2009, when I recruited him for my lineup in the Warcraft 3 team EG, we had to play routinely on 250 ping or more when we met Chinese teams, and he hated it. He hated it even then, but he had no choice, because that's how we made a living, right? So here we go. We can see that Happy is going for a 5 Acolyte opener on the gold mine, and then making a 6th Acolyte for scouting. This used to be called the Ted build, but Ted has now been a full-time streamer for so long that I think it's fair by this time to call it the Happy build, as he is the one that has been playing this the most by now. And the first thing you do with the Acolyte is to kill nearby critters. Every map has critters spawning in the same location every single time. It's however the map maker designed the map to be. Those critters will then follow a random pattern movement. So the earlier you go somewhere, the more likely you are to find a critter in roughly the same neck of the woods as you would expect. So you go to a critter, you kill the corpse. Corpses in Warcraft 3 last a minute, I believe, if not more. It feels like more, actually. I have this minute figure in my mind. It's mostly important for undead players, but I should know this. I thought it's a minute, maybe it's 2. So he kills the corpse, and then he's going to make a Death Knight, up to 17 food of units so far, 3 ghouls. He sees it's a Blademaster grunt opening from Hitman. He sends his Death Knight with a Rod of Necromancy and starts creeping. Now this Sea Giant on Tidehunters has a small chance to do a cleaving attack that deals splash damage to everyone around him. That's why all the skeletons are getting a little hurt. Happy will focus that one first, in order to make sure that he doesn't take as much damage on all of his skeletons. He's going to use 2 Death Coils on the very first camp. This is an innovation, not recent, but it's still not been there since the start of Warcraft 3 play. It feels like only yesterday when I took advice from a French player called Armatim Blatti. A.T. Blatti. This was in 2003 or 4. And he said you should never ever use Death Coil on creeps, because when you level up to DK3, that's when you want to use all your mana to do big Death Coils to kill things. And that was the knowledge back then. It was good advice for the time. And I followed that. But these days, undeads speed up their creeping with loads of Death Coils, recognizing that time early game is more valuable than time late game. If you can speed up your creeping early, you hit certain timings quicker, you get this item, you get that item, and you make it to contested areas of the map more quickly. That mana, it's gonna regenerate. Plus, what is he gonna be coiling anyway? He's not bringing his fiends out yet, so he doesn't need to heal them. Saving 250 mana now, and having a big mana pool of 250 plus, well, it's nice to coil your fiends, but if you're not taking the damage on the fiends now anyway, then it's not really necessary. So later you get obsidian statues and you start repairing the low health and mana on the Death Knight, and that's what you'll see coming up later as well. Another thing about coiling every creep when they're exactly 100 life is that you don't need to invest in a very pricey 75 gold for a Dust of Appearance to continually check whether the Blademaster is stealing any of your items. So that's pretty neat as well. That means that even if the blade is there, you're gonna get that deny of the steal. You'll see that Happy has a creep route where he prioritizes the items from his own natural expansion and that of Hitman, getting 2 rings unfortunately, as he would love to get Circlet or Claws of Attack. Even gloves would be better. That is how he ends up equipping his Lich later on in the game. Now, Turtles level 4 have a very high amount of XP, so he's gonna take those, but he doesn't actually have the bandwidth right now to take on that Makrura Snapper, I believe it's called, not 100% sure. The wildlife of Azeroth is diversified indeed. So he's gonna start his Lich. No third cigarette yet. Oh, there we go. He's going Lich, Slaughterhouse, and third cigarette. I remember when Happy actually used to speed his way to tier 3, then Lich, then Slaughterhouse, and then the third cigarette. That was a very greedy, Orb of Corruption focused build, and now we can see there's a little bit more safety, a bit more slowness in his build. Get that Frost Armor out as quickly as possible. Now Hitman already hits him with a creep steal there, with the Windwalk, level 2, taking one of his creeps, denying the Death Knight the path to level 3. We haven't seen Hitman at all this game, so we can now see that level 3 Blademaster has been reached. Presumably, if I had to guess, via this creep camp, then this, possibly, not 100% sure. Oh, we can see that he actually finished the rest of the creeps on Happy's natural expansion. That's how he got some XP, and that was a full HP and mana Blademaster that also has Cloak of Shadows, which removes the need for Hitman to actually re-Windwalk in order to stop aggro on himself. Look at the Blademaster. He's here, ready to steal, but he stood inside the Makrura Snapper intentionally to be hard to hit. Happy did something to the creep. He made the creep move a little bit by repositioning, I believe, which forced the Blademaster to be displaced to the side. I'm not actually sure what happened there, but big plays by both where they manipulate the collision size of the Blademaster, who's trying to take refuge behind that very creep. Now you may wonder why the Shadow with the grunts doesn't come in to start the Hex, Fiends and Lich and DK. I've tried that move many times, and so has Hitman, and it is not believed to be a good move after much testing. The reason is Frost Armor exists, Shadow mana and health is not easy to recuperate. We don't have obsidian statues as Orc, so even though you may force a TP or even kill a unit or do a lot of damage, you lose much more momentum. And Undead is heading towards a very scary timing of when they get to tier 3, they get the Dark Ranger or Pit Lord, and you better be level 3 Shadow Hunter at least. And Hitman is headed towards that because he's not being aggressive. These are things that take years to find out and perfect. And because I remember we had a lot of Shadow Hunter level 1 harass against Undead, And it's only through trial and error, repeatedly, competing with the best players, that you find out such things have a lower expected value. Now he's gonna last hit coil this, I would imagine. He's not. Wait, oh, never mind. Of course, he used one charge of Sentry Ward. I missed that because I was talking over the sound effect. He's got a Sentry here, so he knows he doesn't need to. I should still point out, though, that he did have his Death Coil ready to fire if the Blademaster would suddenly run in. You don't get a lot of warning time when a level 2 Blades speed tails towards you. Now you can see that Happy noted on the minimap that he's being attacked. An Orb of Lightning is already here. He's gonna instantly coil, Frost Armor and TP. The only way to save his Fiend. Shadow was level 3, has Scorched Bone Chimes, a fantastic item. Lots of self-sustain for Orcish melee units. Look, you cannot give any inch of the map. He knows that Hitman is going to creep this camp. He's gonna try to steal it with coil, but he couldn't. Initially, he elected to steal it with Nova, which is a surefire hit. If you spend the mana, you steal it. If you don't spend the mana, because they kill it first, you don't lose the mana. You don't end up stealing it, but you don't lose it. Coil is a bit more iffy. There's a travel time. Nova is the preferred stealing method. He wanted to do that, but Hitman, knowing this, hexed the Lich, preventing the Nova. Happy then split second decided to coil instead. I think he knew the chances were low. He knew the chances were low, but he decided to do so anyway, and it did fail. He lost the mana, not a big price, for a chance of maybe stealing the level 5 creep. So, as an undead player, you cannot give that creep camp up for no price. The moment that Orcs starts to be able to creep camps like that under the undead's nose, the game is over. So you saw that even though Happy just TP'd out, he had used a ghoul to hire the Dark Ranger, and he immediately doubled back on the position to try and skirmish with Hitman. He should have liked to have an all-out fight with Hitman, actually. Look, Happy's economy is in shambles. Well, maybe not his economy, but his reserves are. He used his ghouls to buy a hero, and he used them to aggro into the fight. Close to my own base, he said. Well, then I'll use ghouls. And even if I end up losing some, the fight is more important than anything to me right now. So he did that, and now he's looking to creep as much as possible. At this moment, it becomes a race to finish all the creeps on the map. Happy finished the 2 turtles level 7 spot. Next, he will want this Goblin Laboratory, and after that, he's going to be checking the marketplace, which is the doodad in the top right of the minimap, and then eventually the final prize, the red spot. He must be worried right now that Hitman, even now, may be taking the marketplace. The Scourge Bone Chime on the Shadow Hunter told Happy, enemy has already done the laboratory. That's the level of item that we are getting here. Very unlucky for Happy. He gets Ruined Bracers, the worst possible drop he could get. Bone Chimes, top 2 drops. Top 3 drops maybe for Hitman. Devotion Aura, Bone Chimes, and Boots of Quel'Thalas are Hitman's best drops in that camp. And he got one of those top 3. For Happy, it's the worst. Knowing that the laboratory had been taken so long ago, he must know that the marketplace is gone to him by now. It is out of his reach. But he is speeding with ghoul support, if I'm not mistaken. No, he was just forcing a return. See, marketplace has been taken. He's speeding towards the red spot, wondering, are you taking it? But we see, hey, he read recently this small creep camp was taken here, and that means that you're not doing the red spot? That small camp was taken, and he doesn't believe that Hitman would have had time for it. So he first does a cursory check of the natural expansion. Not a scout with an option to go there, but his full force immediately. Even though that means he's essentially scouting with a 60-foot army, he wanted to be able to act on that information immediately. And now a fight breaks out, the first big fight of the game. Focus fire on what? On the Raider. Statue gets ensnared. Silence on the TC. TC cannot war stomp right now. Curse on everything. Trying to focus all the Raiders. Lightning shield now on the Death Knight. Starting to focus grunts. They're the most attractive target that he can currently reach. Headhunters preferred. Raiders preferred, but the Raider microed back. Burrow on the Fiend. Rapid micro from both players. Retargeting, refocusing. There's Frost Armor, there's Curse. Not a lot of damage being taken by Happy's army because of all these spells. But in the meantime, 2 Fiends very low. No Dust of Appearance for Hitman. A rare error from our top North American player. Focus Fire on the Walkers. TC levels up. Is that level 3? I do believe it is. Yes. Level 3 on the TC. Destroyer being focused. He sends it over the woods away from the Blade's Focus Fire. Burrow being a huge help here for Happy as his Fiends are surviving. Being healed even now by the Destroyer. We see Devour Magic on the TC. Removing Curse as well as Spirit Link makes the TC more focusable. There are greater healing potions on many things. Happy decides to save his losses and get out for now. Statue survives. It's not very useful anymore. It's out of health, out of mana. It's low. Still, he's going to repair it. Eventually, he'll be morphing this bad boy into a Destroyer most likely. But Happy suffered significant losses. Maybe not so much in his unit count. He still has a healing potion. He still got his health stone on the DK. But the losses here, I suppose, are in the mana, on his heroes, and on his statues. One statue was killed, the other is depleted. Meanwhile, Hitman lost real things. 1 or 2 raiders went down, 1 or 2 grunts went down. Walker was either killed or put very low, and he lost a lot of mana. That cost the Orc a gold. But I wonder, was Hitman over 50 food in all that? Quick math, 3 grunts, a Walker, a Kodo, 1 or 2 raiders, and a Walker or 2. There's 3-4 headhunters. I do believe Hitman was 56 food in that fight. I could be wrong. And Happy once again goes to that final big reward spot in the top right of the map. He knows maximum distance between himself and Hitman, but he sees it has been taken. Not exactly sure when. Maybe it was taken all along. Maybe he knew that. Maybe he was just checking to see if there is a semblance of creeps left. The big red spot, the big creep taken, level 9, but the rest still available. Either way, he now knows that this was a forlorn hope. And he dusts the blades and he's looking to attack again, but not via the center, see? He achieves... I thought it was going to go in via the top spot, but no, he wants to get a potion of invulnerability first. Maybe even a Dust of Appearance as well. He sells the health stone on the Death Knight, which gives 225 gold, but minus upkeep, so 170. So he basically sells the health stone to buy a potion of invulnerability, which he then gives to the Lich. Interesting. Invul, of course, achieves 7 seconds of untouchability on the Lich, which means it's not going to get purged, stomped, and hexed. And it can keep firing, so it's the sustenance of the DPS for the undead army. Orb of Corruption is a big deal there. I'm still shocked that he would sell the health stone and not just wait for a bit of investment, but perhaps he really wanted to power on to 69 food, knowing that a long waiting game is not in his favor. Upgrades, 1-0 attack for the Fiends. Not sure what Hitman has, maybe 1 attack on Headhunters, maybe nothing. Honestly, it's not very important. 69 food with no hope to go over. A fight now would be a good timing, but still you feel that fear, the repositioning desire. Focus Fire on the Raider, he Coil Novas it had Link, it still goes down. Headhunter's Blades on the Destroyer, down instantly. There's one statue with very low mana, he morphs the wrong one! A rare mistake from Happy, he morphs the Destroyer that had full mana on the statue. Walker Focus Fire now, Kodo being blocked by the Death Knight and by the Ghoul. He's doing as much Focus Fire as he can on that. Kodo gets his unit back. Walker gets resurrected with the Master training. DK drops very low. He's got to be careful he doesn't get stomped. But the stomp on the Fiends. Another Destroyer goes down. Will he morph another? Happy already dropped 20 food. Nice Burrow Micro to dodge the Kodo Devour. Blademaster still very healthy. All the Focus Fires going to the ranged units of Hitman. Banshee microed back expertly. This time there is Dust of Appearance. Blade is level 4 and critting for 276. Oh my god, he must have such good items. 270, what the hell? With a level 2 critical strike? That's not normal. Imagine level 3, he'd be doing 350 crits or so. This is so sick. He must have been shopping pretty hardcore from the marketplace or gotten very lucky on his item drops. Curse, a godsend here for Happy. He's lost over 20 food. Some of those are his reinforcements that are coming in now. That means he's still at 50. Devour Magic will actually remove much of the curse, but also the link. It's a mixed bag, but it does give bonus mana on the Destroyer, which means bonus attack damage, especially on those ethereal walkers, no pun intended. And A little bit of micro back and forth for both players here. 54 food. Happy instantly goes over 50 food again. Full timing based aggression, not going for the upkeep management game. Fiends are just getting absolutely hammered here by that Blademaster. You can see some more of those big critical strikes. No focus fire on heroes by anyone, you see? Not because they're bad. Some people may be wondering, why aren't they killing each other's heroes? Big coil, Nova nuke. No, they respect each other's micro and item management. That until there's almost nothing left in terms of units which are much easier to kill, only then will there be focus fire. Hitman entirely ignoring what seems to be, probably to many, the low-hanging fruit of these undead heroes. But look, they're well fortified. Rings of protection, greater healing, invul. By not focusing heroes, you've completely invalidated the protective items and investments that other players have made. Just like that, we also know that Blade TC will not be falling easily. Ah, level up there, Blade level 5. We're going to see some huge critical strikes there coming soon. TC is level 4 as well. Coil on the DK, 332 critical strike. Oh, the Blademaster with the level 2 windwalks as well, adding a lot of bonus damage. The Death Knight doesn't need much anymore to be convinced to take another step into the afterlife. He's halfway down death's door already. That's a high mana statue that Happy should hate to lose. Very, very unlikely for Happy to come back into this. If that hit... Oh, the curse! If that hit, it would have been a kill. Another 320 crit here by the Blademaster. Is there another Dust of Appearance? No, so the Fiends are safe. Dark Ranger with the greater healing potion. Happy does have Dust. He sees the Blade. He's trying to bait Hitman into his base, trying to kill that Kodo Beast. It will make a skeleton. It didn't eat, so no units will be freed. And look, he's not even coiling the Fiend. He knows aggressive coil is his best shot right now. So he removes the curse on the Blademaster, but he needs to do that in order to remove Spirit Link, to have a chance to maybe cheese focus fire the Blade. Destroyer gets purged and its death warrant is signed in that manner. Lich taking a lot of damage. GG. Hitman wins the first encounter between these two, and I'm already looking forward to the next one. Great play by both players, definitely more item luck for Hitman, and sometimes that may be all that determines who ends up winning a game. Or it may not be. Do you know the answer? GG, and until next time.